and blessings. About 1 minute. If y'all come in here instead of just staring, can you please like the video? Be very much appreciated. About 20 seconds. All right. If you're the channel message, someone's pockets are getting fat, no Weight Watchers, no lipo. So I do have channel messages, but before I jump into the channel messages, I'm kind of channeling either weight loss or weight gain, and it's connected to your financial stability. So, you know how you ever heard of like, oh, this is healthy weight, or someone gets in a relationship and they start gaining weight because they're so happy. I'm really getting that. So yeah, let's just jump into it. Or vice versa, someone gets in a toxic relationship and they start losing weight because of all the toxicity and drainage of the relationship. All right. So the first channel message I have is extreme poverty. Okay. This is living on less than $2.50 a day. This is no access to food, water, or healthcare. Okay. So usually the extreme poverty branch is the homeless. Okay. The people living on $2.50 or less than that a day. All right. We have poverty, insufficient resources, struggling to meet needs like food, housing, healthcare, and education, daily struggle. All right. So this is usually someone who it's hard for them to pay their bills. They need to work 2 jobs, 3 jobs, or more. All right, to just put food on the table. This is people that may be on EBT or any government assistance. Okay. Um, then we have relative poverty, which is having enough to survive but can't participate in social activities. All right. So, if someone is relatively whatever, they can do for themselves. It may be lower than the average person, but they can't do like extra activities like go on vacation or go to the movies or stuff like that. You also hear about like in high school or in school, like grade school, like someone gets invited out. Usually, I don't know why I'm channeling this, but people who are in the relative poverty branch are usually very strict. So these are strict parents. So you may shop at like Goodwill or something like that. By the way, if you didn't know, Goodwill will pay your bills if you need them to. So if you ever need your bills paid and you're like low on money, just go to Goodwill, they will pay your bill. Um, but these are strict parents, so you can't wear this, you can't wear that, you can't have a boyfriend, you can't talk on the phone, you need to come straight home, don't do no curricular activities. That's because they can't afford it. All right. We have lower middle class. This is the branch above the poverty line, living in a moderate home and environment, stable job, and can't take unnecessary risk. So usually, if somebody is in the lower middle class, all right, they have money to put food on the table. They may have housing, water, food, but they can't go out and splurge without looking at tags. Okay, this is definitely someone that would have to be on a budget, so just keep that in mind. All right, we have upper middle class. This branch of people have good handle on their finances. They live a nice life. They earn a decent salary and can take vacation. Education is important, and they're scratching the surface of being rich. All right. We have affluent. These people have more than enough money to live comfortably while enjoying the finer things in life, have access to high quality education. All right. So these are usually people that you see in a Mercedes, a BMW. They live in a loft. All right. They pay $2,000-3,000 for rent. These are those types of people. All right. And then we have millionaire. A millionaire is someone who hits the $1 million market net worth. All their assets are worth 1 million. They have a mixture of assets like a big house, investments in stocks or real estate, and they have a good chunk of their wealth invested. All right. And then finally, we have the billionaire. A billionaire is $1,000 million. So to equal up $1 billion, it is $1,000 million. All right. And it will take 3,000 years to spend all the money in their account. All right. They invest in businesses and technology. Those are billionaires. All right. So let's jump into it. Um, we have DNA at the bottom of the deck. So, however you're living, whether you are impoverished, middle class, upper middle class, affluent, millionaire, multimillionaire, billionaire, it is based on your DNA. All right. So, yeah. We have ancient codes and secrets. All right, so the higher you get in this type of pyramid scheme, the more secrets you may earn, and I mean earn because this whole message is a metaphor for basically like the have and have nots. So people who are affluent and up, they have ancient codes and secrets. Like I said, millionaires usually invest their money. You find that people of poverty don't invest. People who are lower middle class and below, they don't invest their money, they don't do stocks, they're not into real estate, they're not into spreading out their money. We have Aquarius moon, all right, and we have predestined. All right, so either someone is predestined to struggle or someone is predestined to win, just period. We have chosen by Satan. All right. So this is the epitome of money is the ruler of all evil. All right. And then we have trickster spirit and voodooist. Also, I remember one time I had wrote in a post that money is the root of all evil, and it was a lot of people that was attacking the message and basically saying that that's not true, and it's a saying that I didn't even make up. It's been a saying for years and years and years. Money is truly the root of all evil. But people were so offended by this, and you could tell when someone is not living affluent, and or like when someone has to watch their money, watch what they spend. They have to get out a little calculator, they have to get out a book and write down all their expenses, and they have to remember what they're going to buy tomorrow, and they're going to have to like, I'm also getting, people who like write down a grocery list, and then there's like, it's like a person who writes down a grocery list, and there's a person who just goes in the grocery store and they shop. These are two different people. All right. So let's get into it. All right, we have the strength card. Yeah. So I'm kind of getting like, if you are going, like if you're moving up in the pyramid scheme, somebody is going to start withholding from you. Like they're not going to want to be your friend anymore. You're going to lose a lot of friends. I'm also getting like someone's going to be like very offensive. Like if they cannot like get money from you, or if you're not, because that's the ancient codes and secrets. Someone wants to know how you're doing something, how you manifested something, how you got something. And if you're not going to tell them, they're not going to be your friend, or they're not going to support you, or they're not going to patronize you, or like I said, support you. So someone is going to start withholding from you. Like the more money you acquire, the more that someone withholds from you. So I'm really getting that. All right, we have the Ten of Pentacles. It's a group of people, or this is your family. So if you're not giving them money, giving them the tips on how you did it, then they're going to be mad at you and be offended with you. All right, damn. We have the King of Pentacles and the Lovers card. Now, with this coming out like this tells me that you're not the only one in your family that is affluent. So if you are affluent or above the upper middle class, you're not the only one. Your whole family comes from money. So this could be a family business that someone is into. So this is like the people who own Chick-fil-A, Wendy's, the people who own Walmart, and so on and so forth, like a family name. These are also luxury brands like Michael Kors and Dior and LV. Like this is building generational wealth. So I'm not sure if you're the one that's supposed to like start this off, or someone already started it off and it's being passed down to you, but I do see generational wealth here. All right. We have the Seven of Swords, the Nine of Wands, and the World card. Yeah. So with the Seven of Swords, this goes along with the trickster spirit energy. Somebody's a trickster spirit because they don't want to do it by themselves. They can't do it by themselves. They can't do it by themselves. They've tried. So someone has tried to become affluent. Somebody has tried to, they've tried get rich quick schemes, and they've tried finessing. And the Seven of Swords is a thief. So these are boosters, people who steal things and then return it for money, or people who steal things and sell it, or people who scam you, act like they're the IRS, or act like they're your bank and they try to get money off of you. So people who commit fraud. All right. So this is also people who finesse other people. So like these are women who finesse men. All right. So the Cardi B's and the City Girls of us all. All right. We have the Nine of Swords. Yeah, the Nine of Swords is now you have someone thinking about money, whereas someone tries to put it in the back of their mind. Someone is very content with how they're living. If someone is in poverty, they're very content with it. Or if someone, like, of course, I'm sure no one is content with being impoverished, like having to constantly work and then not be able to rest enough to like work again. But like, someone, they don't know how to help their situation, so they're constantly Nine of Swordsing, worried about you or other people who have it like that. All right, we have the Star card, the Eight of Pentacles, the Justice, and the Emperor. So this is a miracle that's happening. This is also like a whole bunch of people that are impoverished, and with poverty, this could be your mind state as well. This doesn't have to be like like your finances. This could literally be your mindset. You could be dealing with somebody with an affluent millionaire billionaire type of mindset, and then you're dealing with someone with a impoverished low mindset. All right, so like I said, usually people who are on the come up to making millions, they usually invest. So this is someone, they're a buyer, they're not a seller, basically. All right. With the Emperor card coming out, this is a self-made, I mean, this is an entrepreneur. All right. So I've heard it before. You may be doing your own thing, you make your own money. All right. You have your own business. People want to tell you to get a job, or people want to tell you to stop doing that, or people want to accuse you of this, and that. All right. So it's a lot of accusations going on. So because someone can't figure out how you're obtaining something or you're being blessed. But with the Star card and the Eight of Pentacles, this is a blessing. All right. So your life is blessed. You have a blessed fate. All right. And someone clearly has a cursed fate. All right. Because I'm kind of getting, it doesn't matter how much someone works towards something, they'll never get there. All right. And then you have another person who puts in the work and they think smarter, not harder, and they will get there. The Emperor card is usually a multimillionaire, billionaire energy. All right. Like I said, these people invest in businesses, real estate, property, stocks, things like that, things that are long term. So, like I said, you could be dealing with somebody that is a get rich quick type of individual. They want to get rich quick. All right. And it just doesn't happen that way. All right. We have the Five of Cups. Yeah. The Five of Cups is someone thinking about the way that they live, or thinking about what they can't buy, or thinking about what they don't have and getting sad over it instead of doing something about it. So someone is, they do a lot of self-pity. All right. So someone is pitiful. All right. So someone would rather cry and complain and beg and groan and moan rather than getting up off their ass and making something happen, making something shake. All right. Where there's a will, there's a way. All right. We have the Queen of Swords, the Temperance, the Queen of Wands, and the Five of Wands. Yeah, so all of a sudden someone's in competition with you and they can't compete. Like draw it, like starts to get into jealousy. Like when people start to get jealous, it's because they can't compete. They can't compare. All right, so the Five of Wands is where it all starts, and then it progresses to the Five of Swords. I don't think anyone starts off as the Five of Swords, like, damn, I'm jealous of this person. It's more of a competitive thing, like they have more than me or I have less than them, so on and so forth. We have the King of Cups, we have the Chariot, the Three of Swords, and the Seven of Wands. All right. So yeah, first of all, the reason why someone is not going to be able to manifest much money in this lifetime is because of the way that they think. Their thoughts are being blocked off from success. So someone does not have successful thoughts. Someone wakes up in a bad mood, someone goes to sleep in a bad mood, someone is they're pitiful. All right. They do a lot of self-pity, why me type energy, okay, instead of being like, okay, charge it to the game, let's see what else I can do. This is also a quitter. Someone's a quitter, they quit. All right. They give up a lot. All right. And it's okay to quit something that's not benefiting you, but if you quit everything in your life, you'll never be a winner. All right. So and then also, like with the Five of Wands coming out, this is like not being able to accept criticism. So this is also, the people who can't accept criticism are usually trolls. These are usually the people that are telling you all these negative things about yourself or about what you're doing because they're not doing it. So these people, they become critics, all right, themselves. So it's ironic that this person can't take criticism, but they're a critic themselves. All right. So someone can't take criticism, but they critique you all day long. We have the Four of Pentacles, the King of Swords, the Page of Cups, and the Knight of Swords here. Yeah, so you just think outside the box, just period. It's a million ways to make $1 million, and you're thinking about damn near all the million ways. Someone doesn't think like that. Someone just does not have the mindset for this. This could also be someone that is sexually driven, so they have a whole bunch of fucking kids. All right, so I'm not saying that if you have a whole bunch of fucking kids that you can't be a millionaire, but what I am saying is that when you have a whole bunch of kids, you have a whole bunch of mouths to feed. And also, somebody is in the trauma area where someone had children at an early age. So, yeah. But I find that a lot of people that have children at an early age end up being successful in life, or they end up living a pretty decent life where they're financially stable and they can take vacations. And then you have those people who are taking vacations and they're always wearing wigs and getting their hair done and they're always getting their nails done and they're always worried about the material, but they really actually don't have it like that. All right. So, yeah, we have the Page of Pentacles, the Queen of the King of Wands, and the Page of Swords. So with these cards coming out, being a minimalist is going to help you. All right. So basically, like walking instead of driving a car. I don't know, getting your clothes from a thrift or a Goodwill, or shopping at Walmart for some clothes. I don't know. Um, Investing in a farm, because like what, like you can make your own eggs, you can, you know, do your own agriculture there. All right. But a lot of people, like I said, they lean on others. All right, which is not entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship, you do lean on others to invest in your business, but you're not leaning on others to give you a handout, right? But I've heard of stories, like success stories, where someone's like, yeah, I had to borrow, like I had to take out a loan, or I had to borrow money from my mom or my father or my grandparents, and then I flipped it. So I feel like most people of affluence, they know how to flip money. All right. We have the Ace of Pentacles, the Knight of Cups, the Three of Cups, and the Two of Cups. All right. Someone runs their mouth too much. So someone's too busy running their mouth. Or judging people. So someone's worried about the wrong shit. Either they're running their mouth too much, or they're just judging people. All right. This person is not a wealth, they just don't have a wealth around them. All right. So this could be someone that come from a poor family. They ain't never seen wealth in their life. All right. But that doesn't mean that you're going to be below average, because I'm kind of getting these people are below average. Someone's below average and they're mad at you about that. All right. We have the Hangman, the Four of Cups, the Eight of Wands. Yeah. I'm also getting, once you start acquiring so much money, or once you start to live for it, like really live, all right, you stop caring. You stop caring about the competition, the jealousy, the trolls, and what people have to say about you. All right. Just because it just doesn't matter, because they're not doing what you're doing, just period. All right. We have the Eight of Wands, the High Priestess, the Hermit, and the Four of Wands. Someone's going to assume that you sold your soul. Someone is going to assume that you're in a secret society. Someone's going to assume that someone taught you this, but they didn't. I'm also getting someone gives themselves to poor people. So someone has sex with poor people, and that's why they're poor. Like, this is like someone, they don't care how the person looks or how the person acts or what the person has. They just want to sleep with, they just want to say that they have a boyfriend or that they have a man, basically. We have homeless. Yeah. So you could have been homeless before. I do hear you saying like, I'm never going back to that day. I feel like a lot of people who end up being like abundant financially, they've been homeless, or they've been like where they had to stay with someone for a certain amount of time, or they really had to save up their money. Like, I feel like a lot of people who enter abundance have experienced this. We have family handlers, sit on my lap, and drowning death, and warlock. Yeah, so someone's too busy with a man or a woman. Someone's too busy trying to make this man happy, so on and so forth. All right. This is also someone who attaches who attaches themselves to people with money. So they only date men of wealth, or they only date women who come from rich families. But when that person leaves you, you're left with nothing. Really getting that. We have the Eight of Swords, the Nine of Cups, the Page of Wands, and the Five of Swords. Someone is jealous of your genes. Like literally, someone is jealous of you. All right. Yeah. Someone's coming off like a wannabe. So someone is a wannabe and they're really jealous. We have the Four of Swords, the Knight of Wands, and the Hierophant. Instead of someone thinking about like how they're about to get this bread, how they're about to get this money, how they're about to boss up, someone is thinking about like how to be more attractive. That doesn't matter. It doesn't. You could be ugly as shit and be a millionaire, billionaire. I'd rather be ugly as fuck and be a millionaire, billionaire than be pretty as fuck and have nothing in my bank account. Sorry. All right. We have this. Yeah. This boy is blowing up my phone. Like the boy just called me like 4 times back to back. Like, bitch, I'm doing something. All right. We have the Nine of Pentacles, the Ace of Swords, the Empress, the Two of Wands, the Wheel of Fortune, and the Knight of Pentacles, the Moon. All right, so yeah, you're the Empress. All right. I'm also getting like, besides that being poor and being rich thing, I'm really getting like it's not bad to want to look good, and it's not bad to want to be the baddest bitch walking, like, just period. Like, especially if you're a woman, like, most women want to look good. You want to get your hair done, you want to get your nails done, you want to get your toes done, you want to get your lashes done, you want to look good, because if you don't look good, bro, it's going to be harder for you to manifest. And I can actually like attest to that. I find that when I dress like bummy, and then I have on a headscarf, and my nails are not done, and my toes are fucked up, I don't manifest that much. But when I'm like dressed up, got my purse on, got my hair done, got my jewelry on, got my lip gloss on, got my toes out, painted, you know, you start manifesting more. So it's not bad to want the finer things in life. Don't get that shit misconstrued. But it's also a skill to think like, okay, I'm gonna get this bread, or okay, I'm gonna get this money, or okay, I'm gonna invest in myself. When you invest in like stocks and real estate and businesses, and you're like, okay, I'm about to sell this clothes, or I'm about to make a clothing line, or I'm about to sell my spiritual cards, whatever you want to do, like, that's how you know, like, you're doing what you need to do, like, so you will get there. And I do channel somebody that like does hair, does nails, does lashes, does something like that. So don't be like, I don't want you to look at this message and be like, well, damn, like, I'm trying. As long as you're trying, that's good. Like, okay. And you can't, like, it's not your fault if somebody just decides to give you a whole bunch of money, or somebody decides to buy you a car, or if somebody doesn't want you to work, or if somebody wants to take care of you, or if somebody wants to marry you. Like, that's not your fault. It's not your fault. And then for men, it's not your fault if you want to take care of someone, or if you find someone, like, it's just not your fault. Like, so I just don't want this message to be misconstrued. Like, and I don't want you to think like, oh, she's just saying like people are poor, people are not. I'm not really saying that. I'm just telling you. So yeah, there are different ways to save money. You're right. All right. It's just a lot of people don't do it. Yeah, we have the Magician. So this is all about manifestation, what you can manifest and what you don't want to manifest, whatever. All right, we have Magic, Magicians, Payoff, and Princess. Yeah. So some people are just meant like that. Especially if you have Scorpio highly attributed in your chart. Scorpios rule other people's money, and then Tauruses rule their own money. So me myself, I have Taurus in my chart. So 10 times out of 10, I'm gonna make my own bread rather than me getting money from a man, or like, hey, can you pay my bills real quick? Like that's just not gonna be me, because I'm ruled by Taurus, and then some people are ruled by Scorpio, which they're like, oh, can you pay my bill? They're like, hell yeah, I'm gonna pay your bill. Your bill's paid. Or, oh, can you get my hair done? Yeah, I'm gonna give you your hair done. Here you go. Here's $1,000 type shit. So everyone's different. So yeah. It's just basically about being courteous of like what you're doing with your money, or what you're not doing with your money. All right. And like I said, I find that people, especially people who have kids, I don't know why this is, but I just noticed that. Like, as I observe, I just always notice that. Like, people who have kids, it's almost like a ritual. Like, it's like a initiation. Like, okay, if you'll have my kid, then I'll take care of you, or I'll make sure you're good in life from the divine. I just noticed that like people who have kids, they always have houses, and they end up getting houses, and they end up getting that Mercedes and stuff like that. But like it's a difference between like people who have kids and they can take care of their kids, and there's a difference between people just popping out kids just because they have a sexual addiction, or they have a fertility problem. So yeah. But I always find that like, especially with people who I find that people who like had like their kid like at 16, 15, 17, they end up being really successful in life actually. So that's actually a thing. All right. Or they end up getting married eventually. All right. And then people without kids were just here like, all right. Yeah, the world card. So you're in a new cycle, just period. All right. We have the Three of Cups, the Eight of Pentacles, and the Sun card. All right. So you could have just been coming out of a cycle where you really had to penny pinch. All right, and now you're going into a cycle where you don't have to penny pinch anymore. All right, so congratulations. All right, we have the Knight of Cups, the Ten of Pentacles, the Star, and the Nine of Pentacles. I'm also getting like you should be grateful that you could take a shower, you have running water, because the homeless don't. All right. And then we have the Knight of Swords, the Page of Swords, and also like I've talked about this before, people don't be taking showers, bro. Like, and I know this don't matter like in this reading, but people really don't be taking showers. Like, I really observed that. Like, people will better off and not take a shower. I don't know what that's about, but I don't know if it's like connected to like sadness or depression, which I think it is. But I don't want to say that everyone that's not taking a shower, they're like sorry, this nigga is blowing up my phone. Like, nigga called me like 6 times. I don't know what he want. It's actually comical. All right, like blowing up my phone. Right, just text me. Like, what the fuck? Text me. Like, what the fuck? We have the Hierophant, the Justice. Y'all, this man going First of all, I don't even like, I'm sorry, but I don't even know why this man is blowing up my phone, because he told me, like, we had gotten to an argument. That bitch told me that we ain't gonna talk no more. Now you blowing up my phone. What do you want? What do you want from me, boy? What do you want? What do you want? What do you want? Like, what do you want? They gonna text me talking about some, so you not gonna answer? No! No, I'm not. I'm doing something, bitch. We have the Nine of Cups, the Page of Wands, the Moon, and the Lover's card. Uh, so somebody want to act like they're in love with you. But like if somebody in love with you, like I said, and they want to buy you whatever the fuck you want to buy, they want to get you, or like maybe you're like having their kids and they're getting you like a push present, take it, shit, why not? Cause a lot of bitches that's independent by themselves, ain't got no man, that wish that they could get that. Or just people that can't have kids, it's just a lot of shit going on. So just depending on your circumstance, that just depends on how you think. And a lot of people are traumatized, so all they can think about is their trauma. So they can't really think about like, damn, I'm finna get some money. They could just think about like, damn, I'm fucking traumatized. So I don't blame nobody. If you're poor, you're homeless, you're broke, you're not. I don't blame you. I don't know. Shit. We have the Queen of Wands, the Strength, the King of Wands. So the King and Queen of Wands are here. They're both manifestors. So, like I said, be with somebody that's on your level. Don't be with no bum ass nigga that you gotta take care of and you gotta do everything and you gotta drive him around and shit. Um, yeah. Yeah, Spider-Man. I don't know why I made that card. I don't know why I made that card because I don't even understand the card. I don't even know what that means. I think that kind of just means that you're connected in. I think that's what that means, that you're connected in. All right. That's what Spider-Man means, I guess. All right. We have hearing voices, and then we have satanic worship. So I don't know who said that, but they're like, every time black people get like really successful, people assume that they sold their soul or they're in the Illuminati. All right, so I'm kind of getting something like that. All right, so I'm done. Bye.